Everybody's got their point of view. Yeah, you know it's true. Talking about life, religion and the rules, politics, culture, yeah, it's all on cue. Racism, sexism, we put it on the floor, but their words are theirs and nothing more. Every thought they say, it's theirs alone. It don't reflect us, no, just their tone. Comments and vibes is how they feel, but they share, that's their own deal. Agree or not, that's up to you. Everyone's voice deserves a debut, but what they say is just their own song. We keep the vibe moving right along.
Welcome back to Zealous Vibes, nothing off the table. Relationships, conspiracy, culture. If it's happening, we're talking about it. Today, you got your boy DJ Willie Will. Today, we got with us
Dre.
Your boy Tone Block.
KT No Other Task.
It's the real Cherie on IG with a C.
And Lala.
What's up, Lala? We finally got you in the motherfucking building. Yeah, so this week has been a very, very busy week, but productive and loving it. But this week I learned something new, y'all. Me and Cherie was talking on the phone and she put me down with this new word called code switching. And if you never heard about code switching, you're going to find out about it today. But today's podcast is all about the real versus the mask. Who are you really versus who are you while you in public or on social media or with your loved one or around your homies? Are you the same person? Or do you put that mask on and you be somebody totally different? But before we get into it, let's break down a definition about code switching. Taz, can you hit us with a definition of code switching?
Code switching, the practice of alternating between two or more languages or varieties of language in conversation.
I ain't gonna lie. Hit me one more time. I was zoned out real quick.
The practice of alternating between two or more languages or varieties of language in conversation. And not just language as a noun, but language as any type of language.
Oh, okay. Now, I was told just the other day I was code switching. I was on the phone and somebody heard the podcast. And they was like, yeah. And I said, I ain't gonna lie, Cherie, I've been telling everybody, I feel like a new man that I knew that word. I was like, guess what? I learned this new word like a little kid. I was like, I guess I learned this new word. I say, do you know what code switching? They say, yeah. I'm like, fuck, I need to find one person that don't know what the fuck code switching is. So I feel like I really did something. And then she was like, yeah, you code switching right now. I said,
So
what
you
you
had your
talking?
DJ voice on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had that Barry White voice.
That Arizona.
She was like, your pitch is totally different. She's like, I heard your podcast, but your pitch is totally different. So let's be real. Who actually code switch on a panel like that you know of? Everybody do it, but that you willing to tell us?
I've done it. I mean, yeah, I used to work in the corporate world. I don't anymore, but I feel like to a certain degree, you can still be yourself showing up in different environments. And sometimes you have to conform a little bit without losing yourself. I don't think you should ever lose yourself or completely abandon who you are. But let's face it, who I am at home or with my friends is different than who I am on my corporate job.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When you hear license and registration, they're going, oh, here you go, officer.
Right.
You're going to switch up real
Not
quick.
even that. When you see them red and blue lights,
Yeah.
you going to straighten up and sit up. You know, you 10 and 12. Code switching.
Right.
Now I want to go to Lala real quick since we got you. Put you on a hot spot, Lala. She be producing plays and directing plays. I want to see how you be code switching you when you be on that stage, when you be directing that stage.
I'm like 3 different ways because when I'm teaching in front of my students, I tell them now, Miss Gray is Miss Gray at the school, but I'm Lala outside of the school.
Right.
If you see me, you ain't even got to speak to me. But yeah, whenever I'm in front of them, you know, things like that, you got to carry yourself like as a role model. Yeah. And then speaking with this level of professionalism, we hear this all the time in the world of education and professionalism. And then it's like whenever I'm directing shows, it depends on if it's like kids or if I'm talking like with adults, you know? So it's like that switch from like, let me give you the real, or like, do you want my sarcastic answer?
Right.
You know, do you want my professional answer or do you want my real answer?
Man,
real answer, because I can give you a
I give you a real answer.
quick.
Yeah. And then I have my moments where I'm just like, when I'm at home, I'm like, I ain't got to do none of that. Yeah. And most of the biggest misconceptions is like, since actors act that, we able to like
Switch it on.
switch it up, but that's my performance and my business. That's not me as a person.
Right.
So it's like, that's the biggest misconception, I remember one time I was in a store and somebody was trying to talk to me and they was like, "Oh, you an actor? That must mean you know how to lie real good."
Actors and attorneys, I'm telling y'all.
What? Or could it be just me taking on somebody else's life? Like I'm just trying to like change up who I am to fit somebody else to deliver their story, their message.
Life
So it's like viewpoint. Yeah, it's like all about perspective. Yeah. So
That's crazy that you said that, because I was looking at the positives and the negatives between code switching, and you said, "Oh, people think you're a liar because you act." And it did say at one point in time, it could be a mental and an emotional toll on yourself, because just think about the actors out here. The way that you see them on the television is misconstrued the way that you see them in real life. And you get all this backlash because they wasn't this person, but I expected them to be that person.
So you can't know the
authenticity of the person.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's that dude that played Captain America? They hate him so much in Louisiana and New Orleans.
What's the movie, the Tyler Perry movie, when he was mean to her?
No matter what movie he in.
Yeah,
Snoop Dogg's the baby boy.
Yeah.
You gonna write me in front of my son?
But there's something also though that we need to throw out there, and there's masking, because I got it mixed up at once. I had to go to the dictionary, which is Google, to find out. Webster, no more.
Look, new words every day, baby.
So I had to find out like masking versus code switching, because I was like, what is it really? But somebody hit us with the definition if you got it.
I got you, Will.
You got me? All right, what's up?
Yes, so mask is a form of disguise and a concealment usually worn over or in front of the face to hide the identity of a person. So sometimes you can see like a con artist. Those are things that could be considered as a mask, and code switching could be something considered how you may be verbally or mentally speaking to other people in different languages. So
I got a question for our residential counselor over here.
Was that? Right. Okay. He's talking.
So can masking like affect your psyche? Like, can it like actually affect you in a negative way? Hit us up, because some people know what they getting themselves into.
Absolutely. That's the cut and dry answer. The reason being, I feel like, is because when you're flipping between two worlds or becoming two different people, over here you have to be like this, over there you got to be like this. That's hard. And some people, that identity shift, you can only do that for so long. That's not a forever thing.
Right.
At some point, right, those two worlds are going to collide. You're going to get it confused, or the mask is going to come off. Narcissists, they do it all the time. They wear a mask. They love bomb you in the beginning, but they can only keep that up for so long because the facade is going to fade. And the real them, the true identity, is going to come out. So you can only fake it till you make it for so long. It's only a matter of time.
Right, Dre. You know you want to talk about this right here. Man, go ahead, Dre. Go ahead. Tell us about this.
What, as far as masking go?
About this narcissist.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God.
I give you a little bit. Hit us just a little bit, man. I'm telling you, we're going to do a whole podcast on this one for sure.
It's a real thing.
Oh, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
I'm heavy into narcissism right now because I went through 2 narcissistic relationships and didn't really understand what I was going through. I knew all the signs and all the symptoms of narcissism, but I never dove deep into the disorder. So I just thought it was just like a personality trait, but I didn't know how deep it went.
Or you thought they was bipolar, right?
Yeah, I thought she actually said she was bipolar.
Yeah.
So I think that was just a cover up from.
Yeah.
I don't know if she knows she narcissist or what. So, and that really struck home for me after I put all these things together. So yeah, narcissism is a big thing, and they do wear masks. And I actually was able to see it slip off a couple of times. The first time I didn't know what it was, but the last time when I cut her off completely, I actually seen it slip, and I was like, all right, I know for sure what it is. Yeah. So
narcissistic personality disorder, it's a real thing. They need, like, you know what, it's funny because if you're in a narcissistic relationship, and let's just say you love your partner for real,
right,
and you tell them, well, in order for this to work, I need you to go get counseling. I just need to put it out there. They can't even go sit with a regular counselor because they will manipulate them. They have to have a specialized counselor in narcissism, because when you sit with a narcissist, they so good and they highly intelligent.
They can change you up.
Everything is a front, it's fake, and you're not gonna be able to see between it until it's too late. You done been wrapped up in it. Right. Lord, heaven forbid if you married them, you had children with them. It affects everything. And it's like, it's living hell for real.
And I just wonder where that stems from. Like,
I can
where
tell
did you gather that from? Like childhood?
Yes.
Childhood.
They are, everybody has baggage, right? And I'm not trying to victimize the victim, because they are victims of extreme childhood abuse. But what happened is that's their coping mechanism. Right. They wear a mask to cope. So their parents did some things their whole life, or maybe they wasn't good enough. Maybe their parents praised the other children and they were kind of like the black sheep. Well, when you grow up like that and you don't get that love and affection, but you see it being given to your siblings, it does something to you. And you're always trying to prove yourself, but you're never quite good enough. And then you become an adult, right? That thing that you never dealt with, that childhood trauma, it's going to show up in your relationships. And you wore a mask when you were a child, but you didn't know what you were doing then. When you become an adult, that stays with you. And now how you parent, who you are in your relationship, that's when it's going to show up. You're so used to wearing the mask, you didn't know you were wearing it. And then you have your partner and your kids, and they don't quite understand why mom and dad are like the way they are, but they become who their parents were. And so it's like hurt people. And that's just what if they don't ever get the help that they need, because they need help.
Can you be a humble narcissist?
No.
Good question.
Why not? I'm listening and I'm like, God damn, you talk about me?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's centered around the ego, so they'll never be humble.
Nope.
They could be covert, but they still gonna have a big ego.
Okay, so I guess I'm not a narcissist.
It's just,
So you can just be humble.
I think everybody has some
They lack
your
narcissistic
worth.
traits.
They can fake it. They'll fake humility. They'll fake empathy, but it is not real.
And that's the next
Only
question.
for so long, like you
That's right.
brought up.
It's not real.
Right.
That's the next question. Can you fake it till you make it? Or
I really don't see nothing wrong with that mentality. For the simple fact, we always tell people to manifest. What you tell it, what's that? That's looking at something that ain't happening right now that you want to come into reality. So you technically got to fake it till you make it.
I call that praying.
I think all these terms are tools that we use.
Yeah.
But if we don't know how to use them, it can be a bad thing. So you can actually fake it till you make it and actually manifest something. Or if you just use it negatively, you fake it until you make it, not put no work behind it, you just faking. So it's all in how you use these things. I think they all just tools. We just don't know how to effectively use them. We're ignorant about them.
That's interesting. I think I have an opposing opinion. I don't think when you fake it till you make it, I don't think you ever make it. I think it's different from manifestation. I believe in manifestation. I think manifestation is a relatively new term. It's like prayer and faith. Right. To me, that's what it is. And now manifestation is like the new term. But to me, that's just prayer and faith. But that's because I'm a spiritual person. But the fake person, faking it till you make it mentality, I don't think you ever make it, because I think when you're faking it, you're not keeping it real with yourself. And you got to keep it real with yourself first before you can keep it real with anybody else. And if you're so caught up in faking it, when do you ever make it?
So I think with the manifestation part as well, like on a positive note, when it comes to faking it and seeing how it really goes, I feel like there's a sense to a point where we can get the idea of making realistic goals. And you know how sometimes we say break down a goal and make it realistic. Don't do a long-term thing that you're just going to keep going around each and every one. We all have that one classroom term where we make our own goal and we figure out, what's the short term, what's the long term, and what's something that you can be able to stick to. But what's something that you're going to realistically be able to do that on your back and burden, you'll be able to exceed it. So in this sense, like you said, manifestation or praying to your destination, I just feel like in a role of faking it till you make it in a positive position is where we can be able to realistically make a real goal.
Chiming into what you said, it reminded me of like a phrase that one of my teachers, and it sticks with me to this day. He was like, bullshit your way through, BS your way through. He was I kid you not, he was a white man, and he was like, if you don't know it, you better act like you do. Go find it out, research it, because when the opportunity presents itself, you might have missed your chance all because you just didn't take it. Because sometimes people don't know they have that skill, or they don't know they have that talent, or they can actually do it until like they actually push themselves to actually to their full potential. Right. So it's like you're not necessarily like faking it till you make it, but you kind of like, I got this opportunity, so I'm finna improvise it and see what happens, and boom, this is my product. So it's almost kind of using that fake it till you make it mentality to say you know it, to really like manifest and bring it to fruitization.
So I got a question. When is it not acceptable?
I think it's really boiling down to, are you true to yourself? Are you grounded in yourself? Because if you're not a grounded person, you gonna fake it and you're not gonna make it, because you're not gonna have no substance to put behind it. But if you're a grounded person and like you say, you projecting and you trying to reach a goal, you fake it until you get there, you probably will make it, in my opinion. Because to me, there's a setting intent.
But if you're a narcissist and you faking it, you ain't gonna ever make it.
They just fake. They just
they stuck in the loop.
They gotta live. They gotta live on somebody else's terms.
Seriously, they
to
just
make themselves feel good about themselves.
They just fake.
Let me say something. I had a supposed to be friend that, when I say fake, we'll be out. I know how she is, but then we come to work.
Yeah,
she's totally different. Where till one day, because I'm over her, I literally had to say, "I'm finna whoop your ass." Because you're being fake.
Yeah,
and I don't like people being fake around me. So when you start being fake, especially towards me. You gotta go.
It ain't it.
Yeah. You have to go.
And just like the workplace, it's the same way as you speaking. Most of the time they say, fake it till you make it. And I recently had a meeting with one of my doctors that I, work under. And it was another female in that, or one of my coworkers that I work with. And the environment is very hostile, very toxic. And me as a person, I don't do fake. Fake is something where I feel like I'm forced into doing it. And all I know is I'm here to do my work, and that's it. If I have to cooperate with you or communicate to you, that's fine. But I would not have to fake good mornings, and I'm not going to fake smiles, and I'm not going to fake laugh. I'm not going to fake being your friend.
I'm going to let you go ahead, but ain't that still like what we saying, code switching?
Yeah. That's
and that man
kind of, because the code switching itself is, I'm at work, I'm still professional in a work setting, but the fake it till you make it is, I'm like, yo, hey girl, this just happened, but I'm cool with you. No, it's But with the mask thing itself, to put a mask on in front of my patients and act like I didn't have no problem with that girl.
Okay, I like that.
But I'm just saying, I get you, but at the work thing, I think they just trying to fit in socially. Right. They just trying to.
Just social?
Or professional.
I mean, professionally. I mean, but I guess my question is, if someone give you a different personality, is it really fake?
If it compromise your morals, if it compromise who you are as a person, and it's like toxic to you, you are not able to go and fully be yourself, and it's not for your betterment, that's where we draw the line. Also, if it disrespects like others and is not being mindful of everybody around you, that's when we draw the line.
Okay. I got you. You gave me what I wanted to know. I just wanted to know, when is that line when it's actually fake? So when you're not true to yourself, like me, I'm a generous, I'm kind. So if you see me out there fucking doing some weird shit, then I'm acting fake as well.
Welcome to Zealous Vibes. Let's ignite the spark. We're shining bright, illuminating the dark. With every word we speak, growing ever wise. Stay tuned, we're the voice that never lies. Stay zealous, stay keen, keep your mind alive. We're shining bright in the dark.
I got a question.
question.
Go ahead.
So my question, when you said that reminded me of parenting and how there's two parents in a household, and you know how some people it's this big debate on like 2-parent households are always better, but then we have these parents that mask in front of their kids. They don't tell them the real situation. So let's convert that to parenting. What y'all think about like when it comes to masking and code switching in front of your kids?
I most definitely feel that way.
That plays a big part in a lot of homes and a lot of personalities and things like that can create these disorder that we just talked about when we talk about narcissistic mentality.
Hold on, wait a minute, because goddamn it, y'all just not letting me talk.
Hold on, Tom.
Look,
what's on your mind?
If you gonna fake it till you make it, nowadays, what you think Instagram is? You all start off as a nobody for the most part, but you get a good following because you looking good, you giving them highlights. All your shit might be fake. You might wear fake Jordans, fake jewelry, fake clothes, but you look good in the shit. Motherfuckers see you look good. Now you got a big following. Next thing you know, you getting hosting jobs and all this shit from being a fake motherfucker. But you know what? Now you made it. Now you can get the real shit. So in that instance,
can't even show up now.
It can motherfucking be that. And then that can lead to narcissism. Like, bitch, I started from the bottom. Now I'm here.
Welcome to.
And now, you know what? Hey, my hat's off to you for faking it till you make it.
Right.
But I'm going to always say, you can lie to yourself, but you can't fool yourself. Just know the difference.
Hey.
Right.
I'm a fake person. To me is a different kind of individual. I don't know. It's just not in me to be something that I'm not. Even if I'm in the corporate world, I'm like I said earlier, at the core of me, I am still who I am.
Right.
When I worked in the corporate world, I probably had I knew everybody at my job, but maybe 5 people I considered out of maybe 5,000 employees, because we seen each other, and it was a predominantly Black environment. But maybe out of that 5,000, maybe 5 of those I considered friends. And out of that 5, personally, maybe 3 of them we're social media friends. They can come to my home. Like, that ain't for everybody.
Right.
So just because we sharing this thing, or people we went to school with,
Right.
there's a title. You my classmate. That don't mean you my friend.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there are title. There's levels. There are boundaries. Everybody don't get access to every single layer of me.
Right.
And that don't mean I'm fake. That mean I'm real. You know what I mean? Yeah, that mean I'm real.
Right.
So just because we party and kick it together, you might be that friend for that, but you ain't the friend that I'm going to church with. You ain't the friend that I call to pray for me.
And I'm gonna let you know that.
I got a praying sister for that. Like, I ain't doing that. So I don't think that that's a fake thing. I don't think that's faking it till you make it. I think you have to compartmentalize people and where they belong in your life.
They're just socializing.
And then
We got one more thing I want to handle before we go and break here in about 10 minutes. Imposter syndrome. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think I really know what that is.
Imposter syndrome is like when you're successful at something, but deep down you don't feel like you deserve to be there for some odd reason.
as they say, it's a psychological thing, and it's experience that causes people to doubt their skills and successes.
Just like what Dre said, LeBron talked about this even on his little series he had. He talked about being successful, reaching this level of success, and feeling guilty because you leave behind your friends, some friends. You leave behind certain people, or you move your family out the hood, and now y'all living nice. And now all of a sudden people put another label on you. Oh, he think he all that. Oh, he too good. Or he forgot where he came from. And imposter syndrome carries a level of guilt or shame with success, a certain level of success, or whatever you consider successful.
Why do people hide who they really are, to be honest? Anybody on the panel can answer that question. Why do people hide who they really are?
I think it's situational. It just depends on the environment, hiding who you really are, because everything isn't to be seen by everybody in every situation. So, sometimes you do have to switch it up. It's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't trying to be fake, but like I said, I know how to be respectful. I don't have to like you or deal with you in my personal life. I ain't asking my friends to be mad at you because you ain't my cup of tea, and I ain't everybody's cup of tea. So I think it's okay, but I'm gonna be myself. I ain't gonna hide nothing. But if I don't fool with you, I just don't fool with you, and that's okay too.
Bet.
Sometimes you gotta hide who you is just for a certain amount of time till you get the real feel on somebody. Like you don't want to let them know. Like if it's a woman that you be doing the P Diddy shit until y'all into that together. And if it's a nigga that you slanging dope to, you don't want to let him know you the plug because he might rob you. So you want to make sure you fill him out before you give him the spill.
Why do people hide their true selves?
I think it's like kind of a mirror thing. Needing somebody to accept who they are, really try to see if they confide in them, kind of like a confidence thing. I feel like some people hide who they really are because they don't know if they fit in well.
I'll tell you what I think, honestly. I'm no bullshitting. Sometimes you like when you trying to impress somebody or whatever, you give them the representation of you. Excuse me. You give them the representation of you and who you think that they'll approve of and what they looking for. So you try to fit that little pocket. But as I got a little older and once I got married, really, I was like, I ain't really got to try to impress nobody or fit in nowhere because I ain't, like, if being me ain't impressive enough, then I don't really give a fuck if you feel for me or not. Like, I'm just going to do what I do. If you don't like it, then just pull away. I feel the vibe. I know not to, But for the most part, I pull people in a sense, but that's not always a sense because it could be negative or positive. But I think just being who you is the most authentic thing. So I don't know.
I think that we figure out who we
somewhere.
are, like when we go through problems, or like when you're in a situation or a circumstance. Like if you're in a relationship or something, you like something, and then once this person that you are now with does it, and you're like, you know what? I really don't like this, or now I have to catch myself doing certain things. It's like you start to discover who you are, but it doesn't happen until you actually go through things. Till you go through it. Yeah. Till you actually experience a problem. Like when you ain't never been broke, but you finally see that your paycheck didn't hit on time. Now you're not able to pay this, you're not able to pay that. It's like now you seeing how you work this problem out, and it's telling you who you are. Okay. So I kind of find myself discovering who I am by like, you know what? I really don't like people. I really don't like this because I've sat in a room with, it's like you start to realize when you look at what's around you, be like, you know what? I really don't like this, or I like this. So I think it's a discovery thing as things come in life.
And you might not be the same person you are today that you was yesterday.
Right.
So.
And that's my philosophical point on it. I mean, it's an ever going journey. So you always figuring out who you are if you're being self-aware. So
self-aware.
I'm not going to be the same person I was yesterday because if I'm learning something new, I'm a different person.
Now, there are some core values to who you are. I don't think we abandon our core values. And sometimes you pick up some different ones. But I mean, as far as like, are you a good person? That's a core value. That's like a yes or a no. Generally, people would say, I think he's a good person. He may not be the one for me, but when we're talking about relationships, but he's a good person. He's just not for me or whatnot. But that's speaking to the core of a person. I think I ain't out here trying to purposely hurt somebody. Right. Could also make me a good person with good characteristics. So I think we have some core values that will overlap in all of us. Because when you break it down, life is good and bad, and evil or darkness and light, and duality. Good versus evil. There is a duality to things. And so our core values sometimes will overlap, but who we are it evolves because life evolves.
I got a question for you to follow up with that. So let's say that you've been working on your personal self, you've been personally growing. How do you express and explain that to your circle, to your surrounding, to your family, to your friends that you have went through a change, so that they can understand you and where you at in your life at the moment that you're in? So they won't get the notion that you are being fake, or that, oh, you think you better now, or that. So how can someone relay that to loved ones and friends that they've just went through a stage.
You just gotta communicate. Hey, man, I done had 3 kidney stones. I'm tired of drinking and doing drugs. What the fuck y'all talking about? Nigga, I ain't taking no shots today. Drink some water. Shit, y'all niggas need to get y'all life together. It's easy, just like that. If they don't understand that, shit.
Sometimes you don't even have to verbalize your change. People will see it in you. And because, you know, the way I treat myself, right? It opens up the door and for acceptance, or the way you treat me. You can, if I respect myself, you can't disrespect me because I respect myself.
Right.
I love myself. So, you know, I love myself enough to know to set boundaries, and you can't talk to me a certain kind of way. I don't speak to you that way. So if I'm not disrespectful to you and I don't open up that door, then I'm not going to allow it to come into my life or my circle or cross my boundary in that way. So sometimes you don't even have to tell a person, oh, I've changed, because that can be people who screaming it too loud. You probably ain't even changed. Right. And so it's just, change is something you can see. Right. And the people around you, they'll see it in you and on you. Oh, Cherie ain't doing that. You don't go where you used to go. You don't talk how you used to talk. You don't think how you used to think. You can't help it. People will see it on you. So you can tell them, but sometimes you don't have to.
You really don't. And I had that exact self-talk in the car the other day. Like, if I'm respecting me, then other people, I ain't gonna say they have to respect me, but they naturally will, because I respect myself.
That's right.
I done lost friends because niggas did that shit. But, I mean, I appreciate them for changing their lives. Like, nigga, stop drinking, stop. You know, he still curse on the phone when he talking to me, but he don't drink no more, don't smoke no more. You done found God. I'm like, hey, that's good for you, my boy, but you ain't had to cut me all the way out. Like, am I the cancer? Like, I ain't got to drink and smoke with you. I come and just kick it and just see how the kids doing and whatnot. But the fact that I ain't seen you since your wedding, I went to your wedding, you ain't been to mine. I ain't seen you in over a decade. It's like, damn, am I the problem? Like, or is your wife the problem? Or is it just we went our ways? Because you still call me, I still talk to you, and he probably gonna hear this, and the nigga, you know who you is, nigga.
I think that's unfortunate because I think real friendship, you ought to be able to change and grow, and that's not. My growth and your growth are going to be different. But that doesn't mean we're still not friends. We might not do these things together that we used to do. But that don't mean it's no judgment if you still doing it and I'm not, or vice versa. I know some people like that. I got a family member that's funny. She stopped eating, we call her a baby vegan, because she said she was vegan, right? So she comes to the family functions and condemns everybody who's eating meat. No, you stop eating meat. But what you don't realize, we see you sneaking that little piece when you think we ain't looking. You know what I'm saying? But you judging everybody. And now, you know, you got some people like that in your life that want to judge you because they've stopped doing a thing. No, you can't judge me and I can't judge you. It's to each its own, right? Yeah.
So, I know a few of us have had people in their lives who just don't give a damn about you.
Okay. But you benefit them somehow.
And you can tell, but you are actually caring and helping them, or you're showing them love, but you notice that they really don't give a damn.
Some people feel like they really can change people for real, or they don't have the friendship and circle. And maybe if they hang around me and they pick up on my traits, my habits, or they inhale my circumstances, maybe I'm
guilty. I raise my hand.
Actually, it might bleed off on their life. And sometimes you think that you are kind of like a role model, and it becomes envy.
Yeah.
You know, it becomes like, I don't look up to her. I want to be her. I'm finna ruin her. You know, so it kind of switches the narrative, but you really thinking you're helping because you know that if you cut them off today, they won't have nobody. Or it could be a situation where they didn't have family growing up and stuff like that. And you know that they are the way they are because of that. So you try to be that person for them, and it's not good for you. You know, so it's like sometimes you try to fill that void.
So your intention is not really helping in a way.
No, but sometimes...
Well, they're not receiving.
They're not receiving.
They're not receiving what you're trying to do.
Basically.
Instead, they're doing
But you're hoping. It's like you waiting around. You just feel like it's going to come.
That's just a certain situation or whatever.
Because I've been around people. I'm sorry, Tom.
No, go ahead.
I'm guilty on that because I've been around people and I'd be like, man, you know, you don't have the best personality. And you kind of like... suck when it comes to this, but you know, if you stick around me, you probably see how I act or whatever. Maybe you can pick up on a little something, and they never do. But my bad.
Sometimes you get motivation from somebody. You want to be a millionaire, hang around millionaires. You figure out what they doing, and they see you probably got potential. You know you got some potential to do exactly what they doing. Now you pick up some little trinkets, and you know what I'm saying? Knowing the right people is, like you say, it's all about who you know, not what you know sometimes, and sometimes a little bit of both. And it's just right place, right time. So I look at it that way.
I think it's a fine line, right? Having someone around you that you know doesn't have your best interest at heart can be dangerous.
Right.
And so that's why I say it's a fine line. But then on the other side of that, having somebody around you that you know, like you were saying, they grew up a certain way and you grew up a certain way, and maybe you were taught how to love, how to show love, how to be compassionate to people, and they weren't. And so you understand why they are the way they are. But you have to ask yourself, like, is it hurting you? You know, do they really have your best interest at heart? Or is this one of those people that you have to compartmentalize, or they're in your life, but you know that they're in your life for a certain reason or a certain season or for a lifetime. You put them in their proper place so that you don't get it misconstrued, because as long as you know the truth about who they are, they can't hide from you. They can't sneak up behind your back. They can't, you'll see it coming, you know what I mean? And you know, is this a person that I need to cut out of my life because they're not adding to it, and they're really trying to hurt me, or they stabbing me in my back. Shady friends are dangerous friends. Those are not friends at all. But I also know that certain people in this world exist in your life to kind of keep you humble.
And two, we got to start learning, practicing discernment too. We got to know when to back up. You know, if you start seeing that your efforts not being reciprocated, it's being taken wrong, kind of take a step back. You don't have to remove yourself. Technically, just take a step back.
Love them from a distance and keep it moving.
And sometimes you just grow out of friendships or relationships or something, because people often ask, like, one of my childhood friends, like, why y'all stop being friends? The conversation, I can't get with the same conversation every day. We're adults, working adults. We both live in two separate cities. I'm not on the same type of time. And it's not the fact of, like, we still not friends, we still not cool. It's just that we ain't like that no more. And it's just like, let's normalize growing out of friendships, because sometimes the conversation shifts, sometimes the motive and the mindset is just not the same. I'm still not finna talk about stuff that we talked about when we was, like, on the phone in high school. I'm not, that's not where my mind is.
And for some people, that's all they got.
That's all they got.
They don't have nothing else going on else who we used to be. And that ain't my life. I ain't knocking you, but that's just not my life.
That's not where I'm at.
Sometimes you just fall apart because all they got is Wi-Fi calling, so you can't call them whenever. Y'all don't talk as much, and now it's like, well,
my signal bad.
That's life.
I ain't at McDonald's or Starbucks no more.
No, for real.
Say AOL be. All right, we about to get ready to wrap it up, y'all. On this code switching thing, I just want to put out there, code switching and masking. I think it's cool. It can be okay in the right situation, in the right scenarios. But I think if you mask your personal self to a point where you are physically and spiritually draining yourself, then you might want to go get help for that, or look into getting healing from that. But as far as code switching, I mean, that's a normal thing. We cannot, and I tell people all the time, I don't talk to you like I talk to them, and I don't act over here or I act over there. When I was in the military and I came home, I wouldn't do the same thing. So you got to realize that when you calling your friend fake, they might not be fake. They just know how to act around particular people. And I'm gonna kind of leave it at that.
I think in some way or another, we all do wear masks in some form or another. You know, it's situational, circumstantial, in one way or another. The way we live our lives out loud, or what we allow people to see. In some form or another, we all wear masks. It just it depends on the set of circumstances.
Just knowing when it's just certain situations, like environments. If you're in church, you know not to curse. It's shit like that, and it's like different things. Like, pretty much, if you could just be yourself at all times, then I feel like that's the safest way to go, because you're not lying to nobody, you're not pretending, you're not trying to be something you're not, and people gonna accept you or they not. But I mean, far as the way you switch, the way you talk to somebody or something, that's just depending on the environment and where you at. Like that, if you want, I guess that's whatever you say, code switching or whatnot. I mean, sometimes you got to do that, but that don't really change who you is. It's just, hey, I know, nigga, I need to talk this way so I can get right here, and then eventually, you know what I'm saying, I get to know them, know how they really show, and then it is what it is.
I just really think we got to get comfortable with the fact that we human beings, we all multifaceted beings. We not one way in those situations. So.
What you just said, it kind of remind me of like when you meet somebody and you just like, I don't know what it is about her. I don't know what it is about him, but it's just something. And I just feel like it's just at the time, decorum.
Ooh, I like that word. What is that?
Just kind of knowing where you are and how to act where you are. And I think that really plays a part into this code switching, and it'll just shift your mindset from I have to mask to like all I am is being professional in this moment. All I am is being cordial in this moment. And that's the decorum about the whole situation. So it's basically just having a set way to basically be in that environment. So with staying true to yourself and your values.
Like Keith Sweat said, it's a right and a wrong time. So.
Everybody's got their point of view. Yeah, you know it's true. We're talking about life, religion, and rules, politics, culture, yeah, it's all on cue. Racism, sexism, we put it on the floor, but their words are theirs and nothing more. Every thought they say, it's theirs alone. It don't reflect us, no, just their tone. Comments and vibes, it's how they feel. What they share, that's their own deal. Agree or not, that's up to you. Everyone's voice deserves a debut, but what they say is just their own song. We keep the vibe moving right along. Every thought they say, it's theirs alone. It don't reflect us, no, just their tone. Comments and vibes, it's how they feel. What they share, that's their own deal. Their words are personal, no need to stress. Here we share thoughts, express, no suppress. It's Zealous Vibes.